misconduct and misuse of public funds. Let's engage a private legal practitioner, Kweku Ansari, who is a former director of the Ghana School of Law. And Ansari, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for having me on.
I want to first of all find out from you how this strikes you, the latest move by the suspended Chief Justice to, as it were, defend what she describes as her rights, and then also put some spotlight on the violation of her human rights as has been captured in this suit before the Ecowas Court of Human Rights.
Thank you. I think that the Chief Justice is now holding on to just anything, that will come their way. The Ecowas Community Court indeed has jurisdiction to hear cases bordering on violations of individual human rights. But the point is that the Ecowas Community Court is a creature of the Ecowas community pursuant to their own protocols and treaties. And the first thing presumptively is that the Ecowas Community Court will respect the laws of member states. And one of the laws, the member states, is respect for each other's sovereignty. Indeed, the Lady Chief Justice, may take cases, to any court, even, go to the World Court, the Hague, anywhere. But the primary question is, has she exhausted, all the internal mechanisms here in Ghana? This is something that I find very difficult to understand. She's the Chief Justice. She has to respect the Article 146 CJ removal process. If she herself is disrespecting, the Article 146 CJ removal process, how does she expect the Ecowas Community Court to intervene? Because first of all, they may, like to find out whether, there are any internal mechanisms in Ghana available. Are there remedies? Are there justiciable remedies? Now, this is a process that has been triggered under a constitution promulgated by the people, of Ghana for themselves, for the good governance of, the entire nation. She is the Chief Justice. And if she is not, prepared and willing to respect, own constitution, how does she expect ECOWAS, to intervene to protect her? I don't think that, the case is going to succeed. This is again one of the cases with the dimmest prospect of success. It's doomed to failure, because the Ecowas Court indeed, it's a well-respected international adjudicatory body. But if you look at what it has done in the past, it has not simply interfered with the internal processes. It only assumes jurisdiction in clear cases of violation of human rights. Here, I can't find any human rights violation perpetrated against Chief Justice Torkornoo. I think once again, is a very bad approach.
I see, but you indicate that the ECOWAS court would take into consideration whether or not the person who was, as it were, brought the case before them has exhausted all internal avenues of redress.
Remedies, yes.
Now, would you say that the suspended Chief Justice has not exhausted all internal avenues of redress? And if she hasn't, which other avenues hasn't she explored as yet? She's taken her case to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled against her. So really, what other avenues again are we talking about?
Again, you see, the office of Chief Justice is not, an individual's personal property. So this matter is not a personal matter. This is a constitutional process. Article 146 has been triggered by virtue of the submission of petitions to His Excellency, the President of the Republic. In every step taken, the President has respected the Constitution and actually acted in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. There has been no clear case of violation of any human rights of Lady Torkornoo. The President has not breached any rule. If anything at all, the President has observed, the framework, that the framers of the Constitution put in place, that if you receive a petition, these are the constitutional steps you should take. And on each pathway, you have to respect, the will of the people as enshrined in the Constitution. The President has done that. It is the Chief Justice who has created a condition of, rendering the process, impracticable. Today, she does this. Tomorrow, she goes to Abidjan. Another time, she'll go to Togo and this thing. So, if you create conditions, that, render it impossible, to hear the case, the case or the petitions brought before the committee set up by the President in consultation with the Council of State, then it is she who is, rendering, the pathway intractable, not the President, not the people of Ghana. So she must allow, the constitutional process already triggered by the President, pursuant to the submission of the petitions, to, go to completion. Once the processes are determined judicially in accordance, with the framework spelled out clearly in Article 146, then and only then can one determine whether human rights are being violated or not. The Ecowas Community Court has, on a number of occasions, dismissed suits, filed by aggrieved persons. On, certain occasions, it has, allowed, suits. But in all these things, the question is, have you exhausted the internal remedies provided by your own law? And if you are preventing the internal remedies to be exhausted, how can you go to the Ecowas Community Court? So there's nothing, very little the Ecowas Community Court. I will not be surprised if it throws out the suits filed by leadership, Torkornoo. And let me again say this, that at the end of what is going on, the Chief Justice cannot, in good conscience, go back, to her office, even if the petitions, the petition fails, even if it is thrown out, she cannot go back, to her job.
We'll see how the coming days will look up, because you've described this application at the Ecowas court having the dimmest prospect of success. We'll see how things play out. But I thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us as always.
Thank you.
Kweku Ansari is a former director of the Ghana School of Law and also a private legal practitioner, sharing his thoughts with us. If you're just joining us, the suspended Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo, has escalated her legal challenge by filing an application at the Ecowas Community Court of Justice in Abuja, Nigeria. This move comes amid ongoing domestic proceedings related to her suspension and potential removal from office. The Deputy Attorney General, Justice Shamsai, who disclosed the CJ's latest action, said the suit was filed on July 4, 2025, invoking claims of human rights violations arising from her suspension. If you recall, prior to this moment, the Ghana Bar Association has also taken the position consistently calling for a review of the decision by the Council of State upon advice to the President to suspend the Chief Justice as per the dictates of Article 1466-10. But private legal practitioner Martin Pebo is of the view that the Ghana Bar Association should not be speaking through its president on this matter. Take a listen as to why he takes this position.
Data, we like vengeance, etc. In this context, it's difficult. It's difficult to rationalize, right? These are very serious matters. We should let due process go on. If they had said, the president should lift the petition, the suspension, and then let Chief Justice Torkornoo resign, right? Accept a resignation, notwithstanding the other Supreme Court decisions. That one, yes, I've said it time with that number, that if it's about making sure she gets a dignified exit, resignation, so that she can keep her benefits, that one I'll vote for it any day, okay? Because I think we've dragged this matter enough.
Exactly.
And if we don't stop at a point, you see that the general system will suffer more. You remember even in the Bible, before they got to Pontius Pilate, the high priest said, there's more wisdom in giving up Jesus Christ so that there will be peace in society, right? Because they didn't want any trouble with the Romans. So what I mean is that there's more wisdom now in giving her a dignified exit than to continue to fight this out. Because as we fight out, yes, the press conference Chief Justice Torkornoo gave would help with the future law reforms, etc. But overall, the fight, the high political temperature, etc., I don't think are worth it. Let's give her a dignified exit. Then she goes. Yes.
But does this position that the GBA takes consistently help in itself? In it?
No, the GBA, right now, what the GBA is doing, GBA is losing credibility, fast declining in credibility.
Why do you say
this is a GBA that first issue, their first statement, do you readily have it? We can read from it. The first statement they gave on this matter, they said, yes, it's okay, let due process go on, and they stayed. And that was okay. It's good that they said, yes, let the thing be done under due process, right? Then they shifted, went and they didn't announce the media review conference well, and went and met a few lawyers, less than 60, voted to say the removal process is not good, all the unsavory things they did, that resolution. We came here and condemned it, but it tells you that they haven't learned. It looks like they are digging in their heels. The GBA is digging in their heels. It's not good. As an association, I expected, that's when we showed that Mrs. Ifuagati, you see people even brought pictures of her in MPP attire on an MPP platform with Joe Gatti, her husband. I thought that would have told her that, look, Ghanaians are watching. So even if to anything, I even think that Mrs. Ifuagati should not be the person to give such a speech, because you see, it's very difficult for citizens to separate her from the MPP. So she should have even known the messenger. She's not the right messenger for this kind of message. Madam Ifuagati, this speech, you shouldn't have read it. Let somebody who is not tied to the MPP openly. Yes, you may be MPP inside, right? So somebody who may be MPP inside, but once there isn't public, there are not enough facts to link the person, the message would have sunk in more. But once you are MPP, your husband is MPP, the moment you give such speeches, all people, discerning citizens, see is that they are trying to paint the government black for political ends. Madam Ifuagati, let it be clear, I think this is the last time you should give a speech on this matter.
As Martin Pebo is a private legal practitioner there, let's go into some stories with the NPP, shall we?
Yes, we shall.